Okay, Reckless. I'm going to show you a way. There are other ways, not as good in some manners, better in other manners, but for making a GIF, this is a good way. You go to File, Import, Video Frames to Layers. You don't want to, I mean, you can, but you don't want to open a video file in Photoshop to make it into a GIF in the manner we're doing any other way than this, and I'll explain that in just a minute. You can just open a video file in Photoshop other ways, but I'm going to show you this way, and I'm just going to shut up for now. So you go File, Import Video Frames to Layers. And what that will do is it'll take the video and it will make down here a frame animation. So it'll start at 1 and go up to whatever. And it will put all your layers there. So here we go. File, Import, Video Frames to Layers. And I'm going to open this one. This is where did it go? Yeah, this one right here. Well, it's still where the hell did it go now? Okay, here we go. This one. This is something I made for Ottawa Guy. So I'm going to click Open, and it'll ask you from the beginning to the end, and if you want to limit the frames. Let's just say, for example, this file is going to be too big. You might want to limit the frames to every other frame. I pretty much never do that, but just open from the beginning to the end and make frame animation. Click OK. Now down here we have our video timeline. Let me close this and this. And if you don't see your video timeline, go here to Windows and Timeline. I'm going to turn it off. So if you don't have the video timeline, go to Window, Timeline. And the reason I like to use this for GIFs is, let's just say there was a section I wanted to slow down. Right now these are all 0.07 per frame, and if you divide that into 1 second, that means it's about 15 frames. So 15 times 7 is 102, so it's about 15 frames a second. So it's 0.07 frames. Let's just say I wanted to slow down from 16, I press Shift, to 22. I want to slow them down to 0.2. I could do that. This gives us more control, but that's getting a little more technical. Anyway, once you have it open in Video Timeline, you go File, Export, not Save As, Export, Save for Web Legacy. And here we go. This is before and this is after. This is called 2 up. You could do 4 up and you can compare them. I generally use 2 up. I don't want to get too much into this. I wanted to show you kind of the basics. Now this is your output, this is your input. So you can take, what the hell is that called? Magnifying glass, and you can zoom in a little bit and you can see what the output will look like. As a general rule, I will use either adaptive or selective. This is your palette. Okay, watch what happens when I change it to perceptual. Watch the bottom. Well, that actually didn't change it. Normally perception, because this isn't a very, this is a good image to show you because there's not a lot of colors. But normally perceptual will look like shit. But it looks okay now because there's not a lot of colors. Bad move, BWR. So you can choose selective or adaptive. Two choices that I use for dithering is called diffusion or noise. They're going to look pretty similar. Sometimes diffusion is better, sometimes noise is better. It probably won't matter for you. Um, Watch when I change it to pattern. Pattern is junk. Okay, come on. Okay, I don't know if you can see like pluses in here. That's what pattern does. It puts those pluses. Let me put it back to diffusion. This is such a bad example. Man, I picked like the total. I picked the total wrong video. Anyway, let's see how no dither looks. See, they all look pretty much the same because I picked the shittiest example. Just use adaptive or selective or diffusion or noise. I feel like making this whole video over again, but I'm not going to because I'm super busy. But let me recap. File, import, video, and actually maybe I can find something a little better. We'll try crypt. Open crypt. And we go file, export, video frames to save for web legacy. And let's see how this looks. Maybe we can see what perceptual looks like. Oh, fuck it. Excuse my language. I don't have anything planned, and I normally would have something kind of planned, but use selective or adaptive palette, diffusion or noise. Don't use pattern, don't use no dither. There's times you'll want to use them. For example, no dither will make this file size a lot smaller. Right now it's 4.22. If we go to no dither, it makes it almost a megabyte smaller, but it also makes it look shittier. So, like there was one time I had an image that was going over 50 megabytes, and I couldn't do anything other than use no dither, and it looked okay. But use diffusion or noise, selective or adaptive, 256 colors. Sometimes putting this to 99% can drastically reduce your file size. Let's see what it does. It's 4.224. Let's just put it to 99 and see what happens. Wow, crazy. See how just putting that to 99 can make that go down so drastically? That's just a trick. And here's your file size. Let's just say, for example, I wanted to make it 470 wide. Make sure this lock is there. I'm going to click it. See how it's unlocked? That's like a chain link that's unlocked. You want it locked because when I change this, it will change that into perspective. So I'm just going to change it drastically to 360, and you'll see this will change to, I think, 180 or 203. So you want this to be locked so that if you change this, it will change that into perspective. And then you just save. I hope I helped. I mean, that was like the most fucked up tutorial I've ever made in my life. But I'm not starting over. I'm super busy and you know, trying my best to help everybody.